talk about
Finding love.
finding love, something different to what we have been talking about, the
Something
abuse.
lighter and nicer.
Yeah, so let's, how is it, or what can we do as an individual to find the love that you want in your life?
Sure. So I got a lot of questions about this message to me. So there's a lot of the cliche. I notice with self-help, in that sort of self-help scene, first of all, it starts off, it sort of goes in levels of consciousness.
Right.
And we've very much gone through that you have to love yourself before anyone else can love you. Thankfully, that's sort of faded away and people have realised it doesn't work. But it very much is about you get the love you think you deserve.
And that's right. You think you deserve. And
so clients will keep looking
okay.
outside themselves. If you're looking outside yourself to make you happy, of course you're not going to find it.
absolutely.
And I see in one of the groups I'm in Facebook, I see a lot of people posting, you know, how do I cope when he does this or and they're very reactive to everything that they do. And somebody who's in wanting to love and desperately needing for love is going to repel someone who's got healthy boundaries.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the thing. Yes, work on your own boundaries, work on your own. But all of the things that say, you know, go out and love your life, and then of course you'll attract and manifest. It's literally, attracting love is the same as manifesting anything. If you are filled with joy and coming from heart space,
Yes.
of course you will be sending out that vibration of where you're at.
Okay. So it comes from within first and foremost, doesn't it?
Yes, but you don't have to heal. You don't have to heal yourself
And
completely.
forgive
be worthy of
yourself
love.
and do all that
Some
sort of
people,
stuff.
look, some people have got love handled, some people have got work handled, some people have got money handled. And so I've got friends who come to me for sessions and they go, I just can't sort out work. But they've got an amazing relationship.
Right.
So
Yes.
we tend to beat ourselves up. Most of my clients have 80% of their life sorted in one area that they just cannot sort. And almost always it's a mother or a family thing that's going on. And when we shift that, it shifts.
It changes, yeah, and makes a difference to what's going on. Yeah. So if I said, let me use me as a prime example, to find love, what would I do?
So you need to get very clear on what you're not willing to accept.
Boundaries.
Boundaries.
I need big boundaries.
So many people who want love will take it in any form, even if it's unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they'll sort of go, but they love me because they're looking at what they do for the person or their. And the other really sad thing is a lot of rescuers will do something to deserve love, to be worthy of love. So they'll be in a relationship where they do everything for that person. They let them use their garage. They let them do everything. You know, they'll work. They do everything for the. Yeah, that's a ticket. They let you do. They'll let you. You'll do everything for that person, so you think you deserve love from them. However, of course, then you'll never feel love because they're not loving you for who you are. They're loving you for what they can do for them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I think that the Tony Robbins sort of mentality is make the list of what you want in a partner, what you don't want in a partner, and what you need to be to attract that person.
So your boundaries, create those boundaries.
Right, and work out.
And be real about.
Yeah, but I think that work out the non-negotiables, because so you can see the warning signs.
The warning signs. And those warning signs are, they can come in a variety of
and
things,
it
can't
depends
they?
on the person.
Yes.
So for me, I just won't have people in my life who are really venomous or lacking in integrity. I just detach myself from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know that that's my boundary.
Yes.
So but I will, spend as much time and love and energy on people who bring me joy.
Absolutely.
So.
And you brought me joy today.
I bought you some little presents.
Oh, I got a little prezi today, a little prezi.
Not a real Maserati.
That's my real Maserati.
And some whiskey stones.
And some whiskey stones.
Yes, and some wine.
Really, I did well today. I've got some whiskey stones and wine and a picture of my new car.
So what was really funny is a heap of my clients a few years ago would jokingly, and we'd talk about manifesting, they'd go, just manifest me a fridge. And I'd be like, seriously? Manifest your own fridge. And then within half an hour, 3 times, someone would ring me and say, can I store my spare fridge at your place? And I'm like, oh, you're joking? Can I give it to someone else? Yeah, sure. So, and then one of my neighbours said to me, manifest me a car. And I'm like, really? And he went, no, what I want, and this happened twice. And my neighbour Ian, he said to me, what I want is, I want a top-of-the-range HSV Holden. I'm like, yeah, whatever, right, manifest your own, we'll work out, we'll do a strategy session on how you can afford it. Anyway, so about 3 days later, I was at a friend's house up in the bush, and they had this exact car, brand new, 3 months old, with a for sale sign on it. And I said to her, what's going on with the car? And she said, we won Tats Lotto. We bought a big car, a big Pajero, which is hilarious if you know what that word means in Spanish. I'm not going to say it because it's naughty. Right? So,
Okay.
It's funny.
Tell me later.
Yeah, I'll tell you later. So she said, we won Tats Lotto. We're selling that car. We've had it online for 50 to 70,000, but we just want someone who loves the car. And I said, well, story of my neighbour. This is his dream car. He's a young electrical engineer. And it's just his dream car. Can I drive it home and let him drive it for a week? So I left my car up there in the mountains. I told Ian, hey, make sure you're home tonight. You're going to be home at 6 o'clock. I'll be at your house. Yep. So I drove back this car, and he ended up only giving him $20,000 for a car worth 70 grand. And he had 20 grand in the bank. So it was like,
wow.
And it was his dream car. It was so funny.
Start manifesting my Maserati,
so
please.
with you, when we talked last week about your Maserati, Peter Spann gave me some amazing advice once. He said so many people put out there as purely as a concept thing, it's out there in the future versus you know, timeline work where you put it now, you put how it feels and everything. And he said he wanted a helicopter. He worked out a helicopter would cost him $4,000 a month. Right. So he worked out, what do I have to do to make an extra $4,000 to pay for that? And then the helicopter is paid for. Right. Yeah. So, you know, but you don't think you have to pay for it. Don't be rigid in how it comes to you. Because I know in my life sometimes I've gone, I really want this. And I haven't gone, I want to have the money to pay retail to get this thing. Sometimes the thing just lands in your lap a lot below retail. Yes. So I know there have been times in my life where I really wanted a beach house, and a friend who I helped out with financially gave me the keys to a beach house and said, you can use it whenever you want because you helped me when I was broke. So it cost me $3,000 to have a beach house, not 303 million.
Whatever. Yeah. So it's the way you manifest it. It's how you think about manifesting things.
I think it's because I just, in my heart, I don't even consciously, intentionally. But there are some great NLP skills around timeline. Yes. So with client, I do timelines slightly differently than the traditional NLP way.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. I like different.
Yeah. So I throw in a whole heap of Palladian healing and family constellations and kinesiology with the NLP timeline. There is, if you know Carl Cease's work, Carl Lego, he has a timeline technique that works quite well too. But how it works is I'll take a client, we'll work out what they want, I'll take them into where it is in the future, whether it's in a future incarnation, whether it's in a future lifetime, a future dimension, wherever it is. I'll just get them to go out, spatial dynamics it's called, go out and stand wherever it is. Right. Download the consciousness, download the answers to the problem. The same as if a 2-year-old can't do complex mathematics, right? Let's say you ask your 2-year-old, what's 2 times 5? They won't know, unless they're taught that. But yes. Usually a 2-year-old won't know that. No, they won't. But if you ask a 10-year-old, it's easy. Yes. So I know with clients, if they're struggling with the situation, and then I'll go, right, so I'll just muscle test up with kinesiology. How old are they, or where are they when it's been healed? And it might say 85. They've got this absolutely mastered. So I'll ask them to go and stand in the room where it's completely sorted and mastered, and I'll say, right, download it. Tell me, looking from that point of view. So standing in the room, because of how our brains are wired, everything's spatial in a grid. It just is. So I'll get them to stand in that space and tell me from that level of consciousness how they solve the problem. And they're like, oh, it's easy, blah, 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 I just did this. So they literally
do it themselves.
They put it in, well, yeah, with
a bit of
they
nurturing.
Get their own experience of it.
Right.
So they stand in that, they integrate it into their belief systems. They get the feeling, they stand in that space and they access it.
I'm sitting in that space right now.
So, and that's why NLP used to say, go and drive your dream car. Book a test drive and feel that car. And go and get your own. So you've got muscle memory of something. The same as in America with the athletes. They get them to imagine,
visualize their
things,
race.
and then their brain made new connections. When they hooked it up to the brain had new connections for how to physically do hurdle jumping or something as a person. Yeah. And things like that. So I do that with clients. The other thing I do is just will work out what the solution is for them. Because it might be different for every single person. Yeah.
And it usually is, isn't it?
Absolutely. So each session is completely different. But there are techniques, but then you use kinesiology to download.
So how many sessions would you have with a person to be able to change their beliefs in manifesting things. It can happen in one session, or it can happen in two or several sessions, depending.
So it's different. It's the piece of string answer.
Yeah.
So there are, look, normal kinesiology will try and work on one part of one issue in one session. I tend to go, right, just shift them as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
It might take 3 weeks to integrate.
Right.
But I'll test up. I had this one client who was a trust fund kid, had never had a job, had a horrible relationship with his parents and horrible relationship with money.
Right.
And I tested up 5 sessions, and he went, yeah, I don't believe you. And then at the end of it, he had a job. He completely shifted everything. He had money. He had a flatmate. And he was just like, I didn't believe it was possible to shift this. Yes, because you can't force and consciously force something to shift if it's an unconscious belief, because you don't know. We're not taught how to access that.
No.
Children aren't taught how to do muscle testing, and they should be. Can you imagine if you went
isn't that...
bad Santa, and you could muscle test who was a good or bad person?
Yes. Children can be quite intuitive, though,
but so
and pick
much
up
of society shuts that down. I notice kids when
through
they're standing
experiences.
you're standing in line for Santa and the child freaks out and they're like, no. The child's going, no, this person feels yucky. I don't want to sit on their lap.
Yeah.
And the parents going, no, be polite. I know as a child I'd be at events and functions with my family. And I'd be like, I don't want to talk to Claire's father. He's creepy.
Yes.
And then my parents were like, don't you dare. You be polite. You don't. And then you'd find out later why. I knew it was creepy.
Yeah.
I
used to say when I was younger, maybe in my mid-20s, 30s, I'd always say, there's something about this person that's I don't quite like. And I'd get told that I'm imagining things and not to think like that.
Women were always taught to put everyone else first. And the saddest, with the Me Too movement, when the people came out they were always these men that were just like, oh, I always knew they were off.
Yes.
So many of them, they'd always give you a sort of,
this is
you knew.
Yeah. And I used to get picked on for saying that sort of thing, but I don't do it as much now, but I can still do that.
Thank God young girls are having a different attitude. And that's it's a vegan group I'm in, and it's so funny. Because these young 18, 20-year-old women are so funny the way they speak to men. Because men will still try and put their you don't matter with their manspreading and mansplaining or whatever. And one of the girls in there, this guy was she was on the train, and this guy said to her, oh, you're wearing too much makeup. I don't like women that wear too much makeup. And she said, oh, you're being stupid and loud. I don't like men that are stupid and loud. And she just was like, your problem. Right? And
absolutely.
I love that.
I love that.
And it's not about standing up to men, it's about standing up
for yourself.
Yeah. And it's not a man-woman thing.
No.
It's just
don't
call people on their stuff.
Yeah, don't speak to me like that. You have no right to say.
I really noticed the difference between America and Australia. Australian men are like 15, 20 years behind.
Behind
they
the
still
time.
have the resentment, women, and they still think it's men and women are, there's a sort of a
segregation. Yeah.
Yes, between each other. Versus in America, we've got these amazing, beautiful, strong black women who just don't take it, and American women who just don't take it.
They are
so
amazing.
the men have grown, and the conversations, and they've moved past their anger and their own stuff and their own resistance, and just gone, I'm actually being challenged to step up, to be a better person.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these men have been raised by single mums, and so they've learned how to treat women. Yes. They haven't been raised in toxic, and thank God divorce now where you can leave an abuser so you can raise them. I know I've got a teenage son, and he's so much more enlightened than me in some ways. He gives me hell for being too extroverted and talking to strangers.
Well, I thought you told me you were an introvert. Oh,
yeah. So not.
So not.
When the Charlottesville rallies were going on.
Yes.
And my brother was going, and that girl got run over.
Yes.
And my brother, the Trump supporter, was going, she didn't deserve to live. She was, she was this.
Serious?
And he was just like, and that's what the far right, all the Breitbart people were saying. She had no use because she was fat and ugly, so she deserved to be run over. Anyway, which is just vile. It's just a vile thing. And I was really triggered by him saying that she had no value. And I'm in the car driving my son to school saying, but that's not right. She was doing, pro bono legal work. She was doing civil, she deserved to live. And, how dare, and I was so upset that he could feel that her life didn't matter.
Yes.
And my son just looked at me, he's like, Mummy, it doesn't matter what she did. She didn't deserve to be run over. It doesn't matter.
Yes, that's right.
I went, oh my God, he's got it.
Yeah.
He just, even though he was raised with, he's like my mum and my brother trying to force him to watch Fox News and all their YouTube propaganda, all the Breitbart and Alex Jones. and all this crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff, it is
and
crazy
the conspiracy theories and whatever. And yet he's just grown up to go, no, that's not right. You know,
well, there's values deep inside him with his heart.
But young men now are beautiful. So many of them are just, these 18-year-old, these young people are
They
just
learn.
beautiful souls.
Yes, but they learn if they're in the right environment and growing up.
Yeah, but I grew up, I saw racism when I knew it was wrong.
Yes,
as a tiny child, I was in a, you know, and look, as a young child, I started modelling, and I saw a lot of drugs. I never did drugs. So we inherently know right from wrong.
Absolutely.
So you know, even though I grew up with a really violent parent, I didn't become a violent parent.
But you chose not to be.
I chose not to, right. So there's a nature-nurture thing.
That's right.
chose to be a different type of person.
Yes, yeah. And choosing to be that different type of person, but there are a lot of people that don't realise that they have that choice.
So take responsibility.
To make
they're
changes.
The people who are doing the blame thing. It's not my fault I'm like that.
It's not, no, but they do. They take, they make, they do. They blame others for what goes on wrong in their life instead of taking responsibility and saying, okay, I own up to this. Let's step up, step out and do the right thing by yourself.
Yeah. You know, truth and integrity has a different energy. Integrity, they say, is what you do when no one's watching versus, you know, and look, this is the thing. When people say narcissists don't know what they're doing is wrong.
Of course they do.
Of course they do, because they're justifying it.
Of course
Whenever
they
anyone justifies it or makes excuses or blames someone else,
Yep.
they know it's wrong.
And they're good blamers too, aren't they?
Yeah. And blaming is giving away your power to change it.
Yeah.
Versus when you do the right thing, you don't stand there justifying it.
You don't need
And
to.
in fact, even if someone challenges you on it, you go, no, this is what's right for me. I know, you know, like I've been you don't have to do that for that person. I'm like, well, I have to do it for me because I think it's the right thing to do.
That's right. And that's standing up for you and your rights,
Your
regardless,
values.
and your values. But you're not hurting anyone else by doing that. You're standing up and being honest and true.
By the same token, you can't be responsible for everyone else's reaction.
No.
I know at uni, one of the things was every morning we used to walk from the dorms down to the lectures. And you'd say good morning to everyone, hi.
Yeah.
And there were some people who'd be like, oh, everyone said hi, but they sounded bored. And it's like, well, you know, so you can say hi to 5 people, they'll have 5 different reactions.
Absolutely.
One person will be like, oh, they must be tired or hungover. One person's like, oh my God, there's my friend I love. So, you know, no matter how you behave, someone else will put their own story onto it.
Absolutely. And when I walk and I go walking and I go past people and I'll say good morning, and some people will look at me as if to say, oh my God, she spoke to me.
Sydney people.
And then other people will say good morning
Yeah.
back to you and be very nice about it. And that's the majority of people. There's only a few people that don't do that. But on that note, we're going for a break and we'll be back in a moment.